often when meditating on the breath, and especially if you sit for an hour, it's inevitable. Feelings of boredom, feelings of agitation will arise. We might get 45 minutes through, and then the last 15 minutes takes another hour, and we're not really meditating, but we're just struggling through. And often we think that it's easy to think that we're not very good at meditating, or we need to get better. But those 15 minutes of struggling at the end of a meditation, or the few minutes if it's a shorter meditation, can be really beneficial. It's not about constantly being in blissful states. So it's an objective. No one signs up for a bad time, but you're not guaranteed a good time, and it's certainly not beneficial if there's only good times. And the struggling through, especially on meditation retreats, can lead to stronger character. It can lead to moreover, it can lead to a stronger sense of things passing. Often we can struggle through it, and if we've been struggling through it a number of times, we're like, I know what this feels like, and it doesn't seem so scary, it doesn't seem so painful, and we get used to it, and then that period of difficult meditation at the end goes away, and for a period of time that the bell comes too soon, and then we're complaining to ourselves, why couldn't we just sit a little bit longer? And soon enough the difficult periods come back, and that's what it's like with anything. There's periods of good and periods of bad, and it's being aware and accepting that constant changing is part of life. And some weeks there's big groups here, and some weeks there's smaller groups here. And this time last year when I was just starting, I remember in this room there might have been 20 people, and now there's only just a few, and I'm sure there'll be a period when there's a larger group again. And these difficult periods teach us to relax and not get caught up in the pain of the present moment. But we don't tell ourselves, but we understand intuitively that everything is impermanent, so we don't need to remind ourselves that things are impermanent. We already know, and there's a big difference between knowing something and believing it, or wanting to believe it, or telling ourselves it's true. And we can tell ourselves something as much as we like, and that doesn't necessarily mean we know it, and it means we want to know it. But when we know something intuitively, it's very different. And those periods of difficult meditation, especially with the breath, especially when we're focusing on a very small area, it leads to more extreme mindsets, more extreme pleasure, more extreme frustration, and between those periods of extreme pleasure and extreme frustration, we have a knowing of impermanence, and and that for me is a good teacher. There's wisdom in every moment, and any moment can be a teacher. It doesn't necessarily come from someone with a freshly shaved head and old robes, or it could come from a child, it could come from an animal, it can come from anything. You can look at the impermanence in road signs on the motorway, and you can have that moment of realization, just like road signs, I'm too impermanent, and this road sign isn't going to last forever, just like me, and seeking that wisdom in anything, seeking the impermanence in anything is wisdom, and knowing that impermanence leads to calmness, and clarity, and wisdom. So that's one way that meditation can be used. I think that's enough for today. Thank you for coming. Braving the weather. I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't teaching the course today.